Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We've got Gab Marcotti with us today. Craig and Stevie are here too. And we've got your tweets and your questions.
At least we know it's going to be a short Extra Time, very short.
Very short. Why would that be?
Gab's on. Because you wanted to go home during the show.
I was just saying the show's going to go on all night if we keep talking about transfers.
Well,
and we're already 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that
2022 is a leap year.
There you go. So
work it out quickly. How many is that?
366 days a year.
367?
366 days a year. All right, first question. Will Gab be going round to Stevie's for some lovely, authentic pasta?
I've not been invited, but like I said last time, we had some lovely mince. We had a shepherd's pie last time, and I had a lovely time.
Well, I think you need to know that I didn't know Gab was going to be in today. I had no idea Gab was coming. So how can you invite somebody when you don't even know they're going to be here?
We didn't want to create a media frenzy, by the way.
26-minute. It says it on the packet. Spaghetti.
26 minutes.
26 minutes. If you want it al dente, 22. Around there.
You know, we terrified Alessandro Del Piero when he found out how long Stevie puts his spaghetti on for.
You don't really, he's joking with the 26, 22 minutes.
No. About 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Aye.
That's gone down 10 minutes since the last time.
Well, you added to it. You were trying. you sort of added a little spice to the story.
I mean, it depends. it depends on the type of pasta and the grain and whether it's bronzed or not. A whole bunch of factors go into it. But that's why you look at the number on the box and stick to that.
What box?
I don't care about the number on the box. I like it that way.
You also don't care about our producer's text because he did tell you Gab was going to be on today.
What text? When did he send that?
He said, Gab's going to be in studio today, Stevie. Look sharp.
I misread it.
Misread it?
I did.
All right, I'll let you off. For the Doctor of Shepherd's Pie, if you could give an honorary doctorate to any player based on footballing IQ, past or present, who is most deserving and why?
What?
Who's the cleverest player you've ever played?
Right.
Footballing IQ, though, not just smart off the pitch.
No, it should be off the pitch.
It says footballing IQ.
Well, because you listen, people like Dalglish and Rossi and all these guys, and the reason they're as good as they are is because of the football IQ. It should be somebody who plays football but shouldn't, probably, because their IQ off the field, they're probably wasted playing football.
All right, who then?
Oh, you.
Well, you're not allowed to put yourself in that position. I believe.
Yeah, you're very.
I believe that.
You're very modest.
That would be the humble
You're very
thing to do.
modest.
So I'm going to go with Jeff Laurentowicz. Played for me at the New England Revolution. And while he was playing, he was talking about. And while he was playing,
All right.
I was having a conversation with him, and I don't know how we got onto it, but he started talking about how he wanted to invent windows
That you could see out of?
that you could see out of, correct, but you could change it so that if the sun was bright, they became like sunglasses. And I'm like, what is he doing playing for the Revolution?
You know that already exists, yeah?
I've probably got it a little bit wrong, but it was along those lines of
Well, he told you the
inventing.
story. I mean,
It was inventing. It was like 15 years ago, geez, right? But it was along the lines of inventing some sort of glass that had.
Right.
It was like that.
Is it like when somebody rings you and asks you if you'd like some solar panels on your roof?
Eh?
Didn't you get a call asking if you'd? Didn't you get a call asking if you'd like to take part in a trial to have some solar panels on your roof?
No, it wasn't solar panel.
What was it?
What was it?
Was it windows that go a bit darker in the sun?
It was something.
gutters?
What was it?
A chimney?
Slates?
Oh God, what was it? It was something like that. But it was free.
Of course it was.
Or so they
It
told
was,
you.
we would like you. Would you like to take part? Basically, we'll put this thing in, and then we'll use it. We'll use it as an advertisement. Would you be up for that? I was like, well, hold on a minute. So it's free.
Well, they should
We're going
pay
to
you
do it.
if they're going to use your roof
but
for
it
as a big
but it was
billboard.
free. So I thought, so I called them. So I called the guy, I said, hi, I said, I'm calling about that. And he went, yeah, I said, when would you like me to send somebody out to give you an estimate? And I went, what are you talking about, an estimate? The guy went, yeah, we'll give you an estimate. I went, no, that's not what it says on your, that's not what it says on your advertisement. The advertisement is, you're giving it to me so you can let people see them and advertise them. And the guy went, so you don't want somebody to come out and give you an estimate? I went, no.
Why do you think they came to your house?
Bosh.
Bosh. Random?
Honestly, it was an email.
Oh, it's an email. And you
All
still
right.
don't know where it is?
I can't remember what
Don't
it
know
was.
what the guy invented?
It wasn't solar
I
panels.
think it was solar panels.
It was something.
I think
There's
that's
only
what
so
you
many
told
things
me.
you can put in a roof. I mean,
know.
slates, gutter, a chimney, and then a solar panel.
Have a think about it. To all, when I lived in Glasgow in the 80s, they taught kids about the Old Firm derby rivalries in preschool by asking us to wear the scarves of the team we supported in the week leading up to the game. Which other rivalry in Europe matches that intensity and starts at that young age?
1 second. The scarves of the team support that we up to get that can't be correct, because the schools in Glasgow, particularly in the 80s, were not mixed schools.
Right.
So there were Catholic schools and there were Protestant schools. Unless I've got that wrong, because I grew up in Scotland and there was Catholic schools, and Protestant schools. Unfortunately, I don't agree with that, but that's the way it is.
I'm also pretty sure they wouldn't encourage the kids to go and wear the colours necessarily. I mean, you hear stories where like you wear like green or blue in the wrong place and bad things happen, right?
I mean, do you
Okay,
know?
but
I've got to question whether our tweeter actually lived in Glasgow.
all right. Well, let's take it to the final portion of the question.
So you have Rangers fans coming from the Protestant schools and Celtic fans coming from the Catholic schools, and there is no unfortunately, and to this day in Scotland there is very little integration,
Okay.
particularly in the 80s.
In terms of rivalry, though, in Europe, what matches an intensity like the Old Firm derby?
I don't think he's interested in the wherefores or the reasons behind it. She just wants to know there's
No,
All right, so they didn't wear scarves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They'd be fighting.
I'm interested,
They'd be smashing
but
windows
the
at
point
the school. They'd be fighting. They'd be doing all kinds. The police would come. But is there another
of
rhyme?
course I take these things seriously, but listen,
I went to
that was
the-
just some context to the question that the tweeter sent us, but ultimately there is a question at the end of it.
Well, I don't know is the answer. There's so many good derbies around the world.
I know the answer. The answer is no.
Yeah.
I do this for a living. I've been derbies all over, and derbies that are very intense and whatever. There is absolutely nothing to me
Well, I went
like
to
the Old Firm.
I went to a very ferocious Milan derby in San Siro just over 10 years ago. That was pretty intense. I remember that. But I don't know. I mean, I played in it quite a few times. You don't always take it all in as a player sometimes. So it's very intense.
You're not from Glasgow. You're only there for a year, right? So,
Oh, over 3 years.
okay.
What's it like being on the streets
Oh, yeah,
around
no,
that
it's
time?
very-
Yeah, but you don't have to
intense.
come from Glasgow, by the way.
No, I know, but
In Ayrshire, where we come from, you were either a Rangers or a Celtic fan, and I didn't know any Catholic guy I knew wasn't a Rangers fan. I don't know one. So you didn't have to come from Glasgow. You just need to come from Scotland, and you know what it's about.
During the build-up to those weeks, though, if you were walking around, did you get comments and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you got comments. Most cities, but yeah. I mean, you got comments anyway. It doesn't matter if you're leading up to an Old Firm game because it's Rangers and Celtic,
It's
and
constant, wasn't it?
and then the rest. It is constant. But particularly, I've said particularly a lot, haven't I? It would get very ferocious on the build-up week to one of those games. Really, and it can be quite unsavoury, but that's the nature of the beast sometimes, unfortunately.
20...
Particularly.
Particularly.
That is particularly unfortunate.
Yes, particularly.
Did I see that you'd been practicing another word and you absolutely nailed it on the last show?
Philanthropist. That's an easy word to say. Anybody could say it.
Not the first time you said it, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
2022 pre-season Manchester United.
So what were they putting on your roof?
I can't remember.
Oh, here we go. 2022 pre-season Manchester United or 2011-12 Barcelona, which is the better team?
I appreciate the provocation here.
There's a lot of excitement, obviously, about this Manchester United side in the pre-season.
Let people be excited. This is what pre-season is for, right? It's like the build up to Christmas. You're looking forward to receiving presents and so on, and you get excited, and it looks good so far.
Who said there's a lot of people excited about this Man United?
Well, there's a lot of United fans, I think, hoping for better.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
And they played well. The build-up on the third goal for Sancho,
Yeah.
the Martial finish set up by your boy Dalto.
They're all so excited they're booing the players.
Don't.
They're so excited, let's go and boo the team.
They like the other
That's a
players.
great idea.
All right, for the panel, start bench drop. Pavel Nedved, David Beckham, Roy Keane.
Okay, I'll go first.
Come on.
Just get it out of the way.
Nedved, Beckham, Keane.
Playing Roy. I'm benching Nedved. And I'm dropping Beckham.
Gab?
I'm going to play Roy Keane as well because I think he might get angry if I didn't.
I can't remember Nedved's stats in total, but
Yeah, I would probably. Nedved did win a Ballon d'Or for what it's worth. Beckham, I think, finished second, or did he win one too? If you were talking, were those the stats you're talking about? I know how much you love Ballon d'Or discussions, Craig.
it just came to me. Ballon d'Or 2000, when was it? Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would go same as Craig.
Okay, you got
Keane.
anything on there?
Start Keane,
Okay.
bench Beckham, and drop Nedved. Bring him on, take a free kick. Thanks for coming.
Of course, there was going to have to be a Barcelona financial question here. Beckham didn't win the Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Well, we can go and
Yeah.
Gab will tell you.
We knew that.
We'll just
Right.
We knew that.
Gab, what do you think about measuring Barca's risk of borrowing against the future by spending now to improve the squad versus the risk of austerity in regards to squad investment and potentially being mired in mediocrity for years?
Okay. I get the gist of it. I'll just give you the answer. The reality is, they've made a conscious decision. But the fact is, last season Barcelona had 6 months of Koeman, they had issues, and De Jong and Braithwaite, whatever. They still finished second in the league. They still, had Xavi been there all season, I'm pretty confident they would have gotten out of the group. So austerity doesn't mean that you finish 10th, doesn't mean that you go and you become Girona or Levante overnight. It's La Liga. You're still going to finish top 4 unless you really screw things up. You've got a core of young players. You've got a core of exciting young players. You've got everybody on board Xavi. You go and you explain to people that this is what you need to do and that you're not going to mortgage your future about this because, forever until they buy the rights back, and who knows when that happens, they're going to have to give 10% or 25% of their, 25% if they sell everything of their TV revenue. All these things come together. It's not going to be that bad. Show some faith in what you have. You weren't such an awful team last season in the second half of the season. So it's not mediocrity. Barcelona will still be Barcelona. It's 1 year. United have been basically bad since Sir Alex left. They're still United fans all over the world. They still pack a commercial punch. There's not even a commercial argument there. I'm not saying that would have necessarily been the right move, but it's not this trade-off of mediocrity and then the club's going to die a slow death. You're still Barcelona. Oh my God, if we don't get Lewandowski, we're finished. And 100 years of history have been erased. You're still Barcelona. I think that would have been my conservative strategy. But hey, you want to go out and you want to roll the dice. The one thing which makes me uncomfortable, and I'm not having a go at Laporta, is that this is the problem with democracy, right? Laporta was democratically elected. He's the guy who made this big decision. If this blows up in Barcelona's face and they become insolvent, he'll be gone. He's not going to be there to face it. But that's the flip side, right? If you had a traditional club owner, it would be his money on the line. So there's pros and cons to democracy, I guess.
Doctor of Shepherd's Pie, once again. Has Liverpool done enough during this summer transfer window? Is there another player or two you'd like to see them get?
I think Craig, it was you, Craig, that brought up Basuma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I would quite like to have had Basuma.
Cristiano Ronaldo's going.
He's available.
No, thank you. No, listen, I think if they had got If they got Bissouma, I'd be quite happy with what they have.
Bit thin in the middle of the park?
Yeah.
Is that's where you're going to?
Yeah, yeah. Plus Bissouma, I think, is perfect. The way Klopp plays the game, the way he wants his middle three to chase people, harry people, get the ball to the front three, and Bissouma can pass the ball. You don't play for Brighton unless you can pass the ball. So I would have thought, had they got him, I would have been very happy.
They're not even being greedy, just one there. Yeah. They said you could have one or two. All right.
Confident.
Okay. We'll see. For Craig and Stevie, who's better in their prime, Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard, and why?
Oh, I love these original. And can they play together for England?
Oh, well, unfortunately they did. I don't know. Do you know what? Help.
I think, well, the problem is I'm going to say Gerrard.
But I think Steven Gerrard was a technically
but then
better.
I'm going to get the old your red glasses.
See, when did I ever do that?
Oh no, you've never done that.
No, it's a different skill set. I'll be honest with you, I think Steven Gerrard was a technically better midfielder. Box to ball, passing the ball, blah, blah, blah. Not that Lampard couldn't pass it, but I think Gerrard had more arsenal. I do think Lampard was, his better skill set was timing runs, which is and finishing, which is a skill set. So different. I don't know.
With a higher football IQ, Stevie.
Sorry?
Who had
With
the higher football IQ?
I don't think you can separate them as far as football IQ is
All right.
concerned.
Who's better in their prime then, Gerrard or Lampard?
There are some players you can't. See, Gerrard, what Lampard did was as good as anybody at the time or previously. I mean, the finishing was centre forward finishing. I mean, the timing of the runs. You talk about reading the game, because you've got to be able to read the game. You've got to be able to read the guy on the ball, whether he's going to put the ball in the box for you to get on the end of it. It's very difficult to separate them. I would say Gerrard would be a more rounded player because he could play in more positions than Frank. I can't see Frank playing right back or anything like that. You could stick Gerrard at right back or right midfield, or you could maybe get away with centre back. So more rounded Gerrard.
You just didn't see Lampard spraying the ball around like Gerrard. There's a different skill set. So I do think this one's a 50-50.
Okay. And
I'm happy with that.
And you're both okay with that? Have you got an opinion on it, Gab, to settle this argument?
I mean...
But there is no argument, by the way, because they're both saying 50-50 and sitting on the fence here. Yeah.
I take on board what they're saying. I think if you look over the course of the career, Lampard's longevity suggests to me that at a certain point, and certainly the perception for me would be that Gerrard would be a better rounded athlete. Once you say that Gerrard's technically better, and once you say that, I think you would agree that Gerrard's probably in their prime as a better athlete than Lampard in terms of strength and pace and agility, then you got to give Lampard the football IQ part. Otherwise, you can't say they're 50-50, right?
But then I have an argument against that. The fact that Gerrard could play in the Premier League in different positions means that he's got an incredible IQ.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different arguments and none of them are wrong, basically.
But if you had to have one in your team, Stevie...
If we had Paul Scholes in there as well, we could have a Don Hutchinson at 3 50%. We could go 50-50-50 across to the three of them.
We could, but we don't have Don on today, unfortunately. We'll have him on again soon. Thanks so much for sending in your tweets today. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. See you then.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.